But today I'm going to get into some of the really practical tools that I use with clients and that I use in my own life that are about getting back into your body and actually doing some of the work of healing your trauma. So, what do I mean by trauma? I think that's like a really helpful place to start. And it may also help you if you're not really sure, like, does this apply to me or not? Because I hear from a lot of women that, many do identify as survivors of trauma. They have experienced sexual assault, or even just like their experience with sexual harassment or life in general has left them feeling like, oh yeah, I can tell, like, I'm freezing up, I'm getting flashbacks, I'm nervous about things, like kind of classic trauma responses. But many other women don't necessarily identify that way, even if they've also had experiences that left them feeling kind of just like not honored or like not seen, not recognized. And, I know many friends and clients for whom that has manifested in like situations where they ended up having sex but didn't really want to, or it was like not really clear if they were at choice around it or not. I was recently talking with a friend who was describing a date where she ended up having sex because she didn't want to make it a big deal. That was like her language. And I think that it can be challenging to know, like, where on the scale does something like that fit. Like, you're not necessarily feeling like you need to go to the hospital or to the police, but it also doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel the same as like, oh, I'm so turned on and so like ready that I asked to like have a more intimate encounter. And so like something on that spectrum can actually really benefit from this work just as much. And you don't have to identify as a trauma survivor, or you can if that feels true in your body. I think that sometimes it can be helpful for this concept that's floating around right now in healing modality circles is thinking about like lowercase t trauma, where our body just goes into sort of a fight, flight, freeze. And I'll talk about this fourth option that our bodies do in trauma, fawn response. Even if we like didn't exactly experience something that we think like everyone else would call trauma. So lowercase t trauma, I think, can be a really helpful way to think about it if you're more just feeling like, oh, well, just going through the world, there was a lot of pressure to look a certain way or to behave a certain way, or I've had a lot of men who didn't honor my body, or I have been rejected by dates that I really wanted to go on, or, whatever it is, where it's just like me feeling more like this is just part of everyday life, but also it's left me with patterns of fear or feeling weird or feeling not like comfortable with myself or feeling like I don't totally know like how to give myself what I want or how to ask someone else for what I want. And that all counts in this space. I think that anything that makes us feel like we can't trust ourselves or we're not totally sure like what is going to feel good can benefit from the things that I'm going to share about today, that are really just all about healing and doing it in this really soft but steady way, and doing it in a way that signals to your body that you can do this for yourself. So I know that it's a little bit confusing because I'm obviously sharing it with you. And I learned it from my teacher and she learned it from her teachers. So it's not to say that education is not helpful. I definitely think it is. I'm addicted to education, a PhD and a master's, like, I'm all about it. And I think there can be something really uniquely empowering in trauma healing and sexual healing in particular, when we learn enough that we remember and know for the first time sometimes that we can do this for ourselves. And that's actually, even though I lead Uncover, that's actually the point of my work. It's that you can learn these things, then you can keep it forever, and then you can do it yourself. And you can always come to the group for support. You can get the coaching calls, you can check back in with me, but it's not because I'm fixing you, right? It's because like you have learned these things, you are integrating these tools, you're stepping into this way of being where you get to do it yourself.